5 kills already for this Colossi. Meanwhile, KJH forced just to retreat. He really needs to bring those medevacs online, and we're just seeing him commit to this build. Now we're seeing a factory go down, so KJH is recognizing that he needs to get those medevacs out. It also means he'll be able to drop units on these cliffs, which has been such a huge harassment problem for him. So at this point, I like the fact that KJH had enough of the harassment and chose to push out and drop that expansion of Filthy's, which will slow him right down. But Filthy's unit composition right now is just so varied and diverse. He just has so many options that I really like Filthy's position.
What can KJH do here, GT, to counter this immortal drops and these Colossi now being on the field and all these Phoenixes? What can he do?
Well, Vikings are a great counter to the Colossi. For the Immortals, then they're a little more troublesome, you know. I guess really the Marines are his best counter to him because they're so dirt cheap and they have a really fast attack rate. But yeah, he really needs to get his air units up. At the moment, yeah, he's just putting down a couple of factories and no starports still. So he has no great counters at the moment to Colossi. So if we see a lot of those, then he could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, meanwhile, the Marauder Ball really can't do much to this Colossi, this Immortal just hanging out on the top base there. He really just hanging out down the bottom, can't do much. He really needs this factory to get into range to actually get some vision up there. Good play by KJH to actually get, to recognize he needed that up there. But meanwhile, the SCV is moving to the expansion he created on the right there, so choosing to actually expand to 2 different locations on the map simultaneously. So being very ambitious there. I like this by KJH while moving his main force basically down south to attack the base. So trying to pin Filthy down below. So I like this play by KJH, but he does have to press before his expansions are found out. So it's going to be a very tense time for Filthy while he does get all these units out that he needs. More Colossi and these Phoenixes on the field for Filthy. So it'll be a very, very, very interesting battle to see because really it's a mostly Marine or it's a complete Marine Marauder Ball army. So if these Colossi can get into range and cause get a lot of shots off, this could be very, very quick work for KJH's army. So we'll just have to see what KJH does.
Yeah, and another thing, we still don't see medevacs online. So quite a few stims have been used by this Marine Marauder Ball, so half this army is really beat up from using stim. So once they walk into those Colossi sort of this banged up, they're just going to get shredded. He really needs medevacs online, and he really needs to come up with some kind of counter for these Colossi. We are seeing Vikings being a reactor pumped out now, and a tech lab, no, a reactor going down on the factory, so maybe he's thinking about some Hellions there, or no, actually I imagine that we're going to see a switch. This starport's probably going to go up in the air, and we're going to see this reactor come online for the starport, so the reactor going down on the factory there while the starport was finishing. So meanwhile, this Vikings starting to pump out now, and we are seeing harassment coming out here. This Marine Marauder Ball going to work on this line of Phoenixes, but the sheer number of Colossi proving difficult here for KJH, but KJH just ignoring the Phoenixes while he goes to work on the Colossi, takes out all the Colossi and able to just ignore the Phoenixes there. Now this army is really, really beat up. The stims being used, there's so many on like next to no hit points. And 2 more Colossi coming in, able to really go to work on this Marine Marauder Ball. They're just mopping up. They're on so low hit points. 1 more spray from these. Yeah, we're seeing so many rows to these Colossi. That final spray turning those poor innocent Terran humans into crispy corpses on the ground there. And now we are seeing Filthy moving out, thinking about taking his gold expansion. But we're seeing another Marine Marauder Ball catching these Colossi off guard, thinking they've done their business and mopped it all up. And unfortunately, KJH just caught him out of position there, and these Phoenixes not able to do too much, especially against this many Marines. So despite not having medevacs out, KJH is doing really, really well and able to take out those hugely expensive Colossi. The Colossi were able to stop that initial attack and were able to really, really go to town on that first push that KJH made towards Filthy's expansion there. But the second wave of Marine Marauders really caught those Colossi off guard, and now we are seeing these medevacs, which means that he's going to be able to abuse stim even more. This reactor we are seeing from this starport, it means that he can double pump medevacs. I'm not quite sure why we haven't seen a switch here, though. I was expecting to see this factory be switched with his starport so that he could double reactor pump units out of both starports and get enough enough medevacs and Vikings online so he can counter the Phoenixes and just heal through the stim abuse that he wants to do here. But we are seeing another expansion taken by KJH now, who is 5 basing at this point. But we are seeing these Colossi catching another Marine Marauder Ball off guard here and just doing a little bit of mop-up here, but another Marine Marauder Ball on the way here for KJH. So, Filthy, never saying die, not happy with being contained as he is, looking to move out and always trying to be a bit creative, and he catches KJH a little bit out of position there and gets a few kills because of it. Meanwhile, though, KJH is balling up these medevacs and Vikings to join his army, so this looks like a bit of a standoff, and Filthy thinking about a push out now with his sticking with this mass Phoenix and Colossi. I don't know if these Colossi are going to be able to tank it with no other supporting ground units. Going for this cliff here. I like this positioning by Filthy, getting so many shots off into these Colossi before this Marine Marauder Ball can really react, and forcing KJH to completely retreat while these Phoenixes just counter these medevacs and take them out. I was really impressed with that positioning there. It was just played so well, catching the Marine Marauder Ball off guard while he climbed onto that cliff. So I like that way that Filthy's playing himself back into this game.
It was good positioning, but I still don't like the choice of the fact that he doesn't have a ground force to support these Colossi, because they just need some Zealots or some Stalkers or some Sentries, something really, because as it is, they're just getting focused down. And I mean, we saw a Marine Marauder Ball just completely wipe them out before. Another fight though, and all these Colossi now getting into line and completely wiping out this force, so maybe they don't